So switching over to WWE, which is actually connected to AEW.
One of these
at
days we're going to get it.
37 minutes and 39 seconds. Mike and JD have to eat a little bit of shit. WWE cited AEW's rumored $240 million a year TV deal in their response to MLW's lawsuit as an effort to get the lawsuit thrown out of court. And now MLW has to respond. So about that TV deal, Dave Meltzer said that it's probably not the case, and it doesn't look like it's $1 billion. If they even get a new TV deal, they're still talking. Brandon Thurston said that he didn't believe that it's anywhere near that. They might be working off that old deal, and then they got their 1 year extension, and then they'll probably be negotiating at the end of that 1 year. Man, we did a whole video, and we were pretty all in, pun intended, on AEW getting this $1 billion TV deal. And it wasn't anything that we were just making up. Like, it was out there. Wade Keller did a whole article about it, right? He didn't say that he was Dave did it. Everybody was doing it. And we had a friend that was telling us, like, yeah, man, this is it. This is a done deal. And the friend wasn't Ryan Frederick.
It's not Ryan Frederick. Frederick.
Stop picking on Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan gets this unnecessary abuse. He's hearing the same stuff we all are. He just got the balls to say, "Hey, this is what I heard." You and I just sit there and cower and shrug our shoulders, like we're
not scoops guys. We're not journalists. We don't know how to do that, so we just don't. But once enough people were talking about it and it was online, we went ahead and we talked about it too. It was like, yeah, look, we heard the same thing, and I think Joe Lanza was talking about it on Voice of Wrestling. He's like, yeah, I heard the thing too. So. But we did a whole video about it. It's not a done deal. It doesn't look like that deal is going to get made anytime soon. If it does get done, and if it does, it might not be $240 million a year. That's a hard TV deal to get. Go ahead.
No, I don't. It hasn't happened yet, right? So it's not like we're talking about like, oh, that didn't happen. They're still under a contract. Like somehow, and again, our source we got this from is solid. Like they don't get stuff wrong ever. And this was one that's like, wow, how did this happen? Like, so I think I do think it's a possibility, but I do think that with what WBD has done in the last year, and I said it on this show, I said it's weird because they've been in cost-cutting mode all year. To sit there and throw out this offer and to basically throw away the contract before it expired. I said that's weird, but I bought into it too. So I do think they're going to pick up the option year because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't they pick up the option year? They're going to pay more, but why wouldn't they?
Well, because each year it escalates, and I think they're paying more per hour than they did the year before, and I think that's what they're paying for Collision. Now, we're just speculating, so don't go reporting that two buttheads, Mike and JD, were saying this is what this is. No, we just listen to the podcast, and we just try to interpret what they're saying. But I will say, man, I was a firm believer that this deal was going down, and that 2 weeks ago when Collision was getting announced, we were getting that new TV deal, and it just never happened. And I've been waiting to even address it on this show because I was like, maybe it'll just come true. Well, Brandon Thurston and Dave Meltzer saying it ain't happening anytime soon. I'm like, okay, well, I guess we might as well address it this week. The funny thing is that WWE put it in their lawsuit as if it were fact. Now get this. So this whole thing started because Ryan was talking about it on a message board. Voices of Wrestling had picked it up. Other sites like us and others, Dave and Wade and all these other guys, pick it up. And then Cultaholic, I believe they're a UK. I don't know if they're UK based. I shouldn't say that. They're just an aggregate website. They don't really have stories. They're just one of those websites that like they aggregate a story and they just put a really nice graphic together with the headline on it, and then they link it to their story, which is a copy and paste from another website. That's what they do, and more power to them. If you can make money doing that, go for it. So they screenshotted the Cultaholic website, which was an aggregate story of what they heard on Wade Keller's podcast, or they read from Wade Keller's site, and they used that as a fact that that AEW had a $240 million a year TV deal on the table, and that's why they're not a monopoly. So therefore, MLW is bullshit. Now they might be right about the MLW is bullshit part, but one would think that MLW has good enough lawyers to be able to call bullshit on that article, right?
No. No.
Is MLW just getting grifted here by these lawyers? Like, yeah, we'll take your money, court, no problem.
I think that's exactly. I don't know if grifted, but I think you're. All lawyers think they can make a case, right? Every lawyer, like these are people that live to argue. Like that's what you have to be a lawyer. So I don't think it's crazy to. I mean, especially if some of the. I'm not a legal guy, man. I don't know enough about the law, but I mean, if the stuff with Stephanie is accurate, that she pressured Tubi into dropping, and we both know that the Reels thing was just terrible timing for MLW.
Yeah.
It was a case of maybe the right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing. Like that's just bad timing. However, conspiracy theory time. Where did that number come from?
That's the thing. And we talked about it when the number first came out, and you and Brian Alvarez.
I stole it from Brian.
That maybe WWE was leaking this through back channels, and now so that was the theory before this amended lawsuit came up. The WWE had leaked it, and they sure enough they used those exact numbers, the 1.2 billion over 5 years. They used those exact numbers in their lawsuit again, or in their response to the MLW lawsuit. I'm not saying WWE did it. I'm not saying they absolutely did it, but I wouldn't put it past them either.
There's people that came out and say, "Oh, this number isn't coming from WWE. It isn't coming from WWE." Where did it come from? Yeah. How is this so wrong? Like it was just people filling. It was just people filling in the blanks. I mean, it was uniform. Like this number was floated uniform, and we had it a good week or so before everybody else did. Right?
Yeah.
So I just keep. It's just such an interesting coincidence, right? It's just such an interesting coincidence. Where did this number come from? And I don't know the answer to that. I don't think any one of us knows. I mean, like, and I don't even want to ask our guy because I'm not expecting him to outsource us,
Yeah.
But where did it come? I don't know.
The whole thing is weird, and maybe it might just very well be they're going to wait till the end of this option year, and that's what the number is going to be. Good. Possible. I mean that very well could be possible, but who knows?